Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is a test. Hopefully that will turn into a full video. We'll see what happens. I'm in the new studio, which I showed you a few days ago, but everything is set up and I'm trying the multi-camera for more live events. So I'm going to wait a little bit until people get in and we'll adjust a few things and hopefully we'll do a lesson and a Q&A type of thing, I hope. So the setup is a little complex, but if everything works well today, with a few tweaks, we should be able to do this more often. I'm going to use my phone here to view the comments live, and we'll see what happens. And you know what? It looks like, oh, wow, there's a lot of people already. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you being here. There's some new people. Steve, welcome to the channel. Israel is in the house. Someone requested Freebird already. It's not time for Freebird. Everyone, this is awesome. So far it works. How is the sound and how is the video? The video quality is going to depend on your connection, obviously. But hopefully it's okay for everyone. And Gringo, hi neighbor from Colorado. Awesome. And thank you so much for, first of all, for just the support that you guys have given me in the last 10 years on YouTube. 10 years. It's crazy. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And I would not be here if it were not for you. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to try a few things here. Just kind of get my bearings and stuff. Can everybody hear me okay? That's the main question. That's question number one. And how is the video? Is the video okay? And is the quality of the audio okay? Hello, hello, hello. And Poland is in the house. And it sounds great. Thanks so much, Mark. Good. We're going to add some elements before we start a teaching interactive type of thing. So I'm going to add my guitar. Hopefully it might not be perfect, but as long as you can hear. That would be my guitar. Yeah, let's try this as we try this. Hopefully you saw the screen switch. And if I talk over the guitar, can you hear if I explain that this note and this note are two different notes? 1, 2. Can you distinguish my voice from this? Hopefully you can. Because that's going to be important in these sessions. And thank you for everybody being here, helping me. It means a lot. And then, you know, we're going to add one more element, okay? We're going to add this. Can you hear this? And is the balance, voice, guitar, backing track okay? How is that? The balance, guitar, backing track. Doesn't need to be perfect, but what I'm hearing in the house is different than what you're hearing because I have a different mix going through. That thing behind there is my sound card. I hope it's working okay. Et bonjour. Bonjour Paris. Okay, great. Cool. Well, gosh, I'm very, very excited that this is working well. So here's what I thought we'd do. We'd do a little lesson because I uploaded recently a few videos from a concept that I think is very, very useful. And I thought we'd do this live a little bit where the idea or the problem that we're going to try to solve today is, and I apologize. I wish at some point I will have your comments right here, right in front of me so I can keep the eye contact. That would be pretty awesome. I'm going to try to move this right here. The idea behind this concept is that when you are in a position where you need to improvise or play on the spot, where you don't have time to prepare, that can be very, very stressful. And I struggle with that all the time. and I have for years, until I was able to minimize a little bit the struggle by doing a few things. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. And it comes from the knowledge of theory that can help you make better choices. So the first thing that I want to stress is that there are actually less chances on your instrument to make a mistake than you think. It's true. Because, hello Atlanta, thanks for stopping by. Okay, so it's true. You know why? Because I'm gonna do some generalizations here. That yes, there are exceptions. I know. You can comment if you know that. That's okay. But I'm sure you'll let me know here. Bonjour Brittany. Okay, so sorry. Edit. Normally I would edit this, but I can't. Okay, so in music, we're gonna consider that there are 7 notes that are always going to work. Okay, 7-note scale. We're gonna consider that. So if we have a backing track like this one, which I'm going to adjust a little bit here so that it starts at the beginning. Okay, we've got a backing track here. I'll use this on the channel quite a bit. And by the way, this backing track and all the tracks we're going to use, you can download. There's a link in the description of this video. It's free. But this backing track right here, there are 7 possible notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll play them. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Follow me. You'll see where we're going in a second. These 7 notes, you don't need to know what they are. Just consider that, yeah, there are 7 notes that are going to work. In Western music, there are 12 possible notes. And you can see this on the instrument, you know, from 0 to 12, 0 plus 12, 12. And from 0 to 12, that's an octave, that's the same note, the low E string, high E string. Well, in between, what do we have? Between this low E string and this 12, we have, well, 12 notes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then it starts over and over. Okay, we just said that we have 7 possible notes over 12 existing notes. 7 over 12, that's more than half. Okay, so can breathe. Okay, great. That goes and that helps me. That helps me because if I need to improvise or play a session or whatever, over something I've never heard, well, I can take a chance, right? I can just take a chance and see what happens, and you'll see that more than half of the notes are good. Let's play this one. Hey, that works. I like that sound. Great. I didn't know what it was, but it matched. What about this one? Okay, that didn't work. So far, 1 over 2 notes were not very good. What about this one? Yeah, that worked. 2 over 3, and I'm just hitting random notes. That works too. Continue. Works too. Works. That could work. And by the way, this is what I'm doing. I'm not looking. That doesn't work. That could work. That works. Doesn't. Works. Works. Doesn't. Works. Okay, if you were to analyze what I just did here, you'd see that more than half of the notes worked. You just need 1 note to start with. 1 good note will lead to other good notes with your ear. So that's the first thing that I want to inject in you. Inject. You know, I love that word. I don't know why. Okay, so that's good. Now, what do we do from there? Where do we go from there? And by the way, we all know this. Most of you do, but for those of you who don't, if you listen to the track and you recognize some guitars in there, there is some. If you hear guitars, there are some very, very good chances that you're going to have an E in there, because most guitar players like chords that are built around that E. So if you really don't know what to play, you hear a guitar, go for an E. And that's your starting note. Okay, I'm going to pause because comments are going a little crazy here. Yes, I need to make injection shirts. That's good. I like that. That's very good. One thing I do not like about the YouTube chat thing is that I don't know where to grab the chat. It just keeps going, and I want to freeze it so that I can continuously see it. That's one thing that I'll put to the list, okay? Okay, and there are a lot, we will do some questions after, I promise. I see one real quick about growing and expanding a YouTube channel. Anthony, I'm not an expert. I'm really not. Been at this for 10 years. So someone who just subscribes might think that I know it all, but I really don't. All I've been doing is recording videos and hoping for the best. So I think I'm at 130 subs. It might 130,000 subscribers. It might seem huge, but it's all relative. After 10 years, it's not that huge. Okay, but we'll talk about that maybe later, or maybe we'll do another session. Okay, so we've got a track here, and we established that most notes are going to work. So once we have one note, where do we go from there? And this is where I'm going to tie with what we've talked about in a few recent videos here. Some good strategies as to which notes to pick. And this is where music theory language understanding is very beneficial for this. Now, this depends on the style of music that you're listening to, but we're gonna consider that we are kind of operating in a blues, rock, funk, pop genre, Western music, right? Even metal, and whatever you hear on the radio type thing, right? Something that would sound melodic to most Westerners. Okay. If you're in Middle Eastern countries, maybe not, because they use quarter steps. But here we're just going to consider like funk, rock, and all that kind of stuff, musical genres. And those genres are often use the church modes, which is a collection of scales, modes, that are, yes, they're extracted from the major scale, but I really don't like to think like that because that creates problems, which I covered on the channel too. But the idea is to see each of these modes, Ionian, I'm talking about Ionian, Dorian, they don't need to be in order because we're trying to break going back to the major scale, Mixolydian, Phrygian, like those modes are part of a collection of scales that are called the church modes, and they're often used in Western music as opposed to harmonic minor, which harmonic minor modes are used a lot too, but we're going to consider church modes. And if we were to analyze those scales and see them as unique and individual scales, what we would notice is that these scales have some similarities. Some of them have a lot of similarities. Here's an example. I'm going to play one of these modes, or alphabets like I like to call them, and I'll start it in A. So A is going to be the first note, and I'm going to play one of these. Here it is. Sorry, forgot a note. So that's one, okay? Here's another one. Gosh, what? Did you play the same thing? No, but it's very close. One of them was, the other one was, only one note differs. And the reason I played that is to demonstrate that, hello Vito, thank you for stopping by, and Tabish, thank you. The reason that I played this is to demonstrate that there are a lot of similarities between these modes. So I play them one after the other. It's kind of hard to hear the difference sometimes. But that's good, because if we were to analyze all of these modes, we would find that there are two intervals, two notes that come very, very, very often. That's the perfect fourth and the perfect fifth. All these modes, there's 7 of them, alphabets, if you like, scales, all of them have a perfect fourth, except for one. So that means that 6 scales out of 7 have a perfect fourth. And because scales are related to each other, that means that anywhere you are on the fretboard, if I'm playing an E, for example, because I heard that this backing track here has a guitar in it, therefore it's probably E something, there's an E in there, I'll play an E, I could play a perfect fourth, or I should be able to. There are 6 chances out of 7 that a perfect fourth will work. And it did. And we find the same thing with perfect fifth. 6 out of 7 modes have a perfect fifth. So from here, I could probably play a perfect fifth. And the answer is yes, I can. Okay, does that make sense a little bit? The 4th and the 5th are very, very beneficial when you don't know what to play. Play a 4th above, most likely you're going to sound okay. There's 1 chance out of 7 that you won't. play a fifth above, there's only one chance out of 7 that it won't work. And if it doesn't, well, oh well, you sound outside, right? That's okay, and you can make a bad note correct too, right? By bending it a little bit. Okay, so the 4th and the 5th are super important. So that helps too, right? So we're back in this scenario where we have a song. We're going to switch backing tracks to not get too used to this. I'm going to switch tracks. Bear with me for just 1 second. We'll do something like I'll do something like this, which is also an A. The reason I want A is because you can download these tracks, and I want to use the same tracks that you can download. The link is below, should be below. Okay, so we have another backing track here, and I'm going to demonstrate that. So let's just hear the track. We don't know what's going on. We're in a show. There are billions of people watching us. Pressure's on, and we have this. Gosh, it's my turn to play. Well, I can gather some information, the tempo. I hear a guitar. Oh, cool. A guitar means that probably I'm going to have an E in there. All right, I'll just go for it. I'm going to play an E. Yes, it worked. Okay. Now, using that knowledge, from that E, I could play a perfect 4th. 6 chances out of 7. A perfect 5th. Yes. But these notes that I landed on, like this one, which is an A, I could probably play a perfect 5th above. And I can't. And a perfect 4th. Yes. 6 chances out of 7. Are you guys following? This is where, now at this point of the game, when you have a few notes, you use your ear. And this is where the concept where, let's say you figured that this and this works well over this track. Okay, so that's in that zone of the fretboard. Now we can give that names. Let's just do this on 1 string. So how did I play this? Open string on the high E, 5th fret, open, and 7. If I add lyrics to this, that's gonna help me. And the lyrics are gonna be the numbers. 0, 5, 0, 7. So 0, 5, 0, 7. We'll do O instead of 0. O. 0, 5, 0, 7. Okay. Well, I've got that. So 0, 5, 0, 7. In your mind, you're going to sing that. Singing is very, very important. That's super beneficial. So we've got this track. Da da ba ba. 0, 5, 0, 7. I can transform that maybe 0, 7, 5, 7. Ba 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 ba. Same notes, but a different order. And now I can play this because I got the lyrics. 0, 5, 0, 7. Or 7, 5, 7. 0, 7, 5, 7, 0. Okay, now what if I wanted to do this one like this? Ba, 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 ba. I know some of these notes. Ba, 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 ba. 0, 5, 0, 7, 6, maybe. It's going to be higher. No, not 6, sorry. 9, 0, 5, 0, 7, 9. Maybe, we'll see. 0, 5, 0, 7, 9. Yes. How did I know this? I'm not sure, but you know it too. Because if you do this kind of work with just a few notes, adding the lyrics, the numbers, you'll see that your inner brain, inner intellect will fill in those gaps automatically the more you play. And that's how you can get into automatic playing without having to learn a bunch of licks and things like that. So I'm going to pause here. That's kind of what I had for you in this session, which kind of brings together some previous lessons in the last few weeks. We talked about that. So revisit those. And but the backing track here is part of a pack of backing track that is free. You can download it below. The top line of that, the description of the video will bring you to a place where you can download that. Okay, let's pause a little bit. Let's talk. Let's talk a little bit. And And someone is asking if I know Opeth. Yes, kind of. I knew them more like years ago, before I moved to the States. So about, I don't know, 15 years ago, 17 years ago, one of my good friends in France, we were in a band together. He was a big fan of Opeth. So I know of them, I'll say. If I miss some questions, feel free to write them again. I'm just going to grab my phone here and and we'll talk. Can I make lessons for absolute beginners? That's been a request for a while, and I think I'm going to have to do one at some point, but I don't know when. This is not my first live session, but it's the first one in this new studio. Moved here 2 days ago. I'll do more. This is kind of a test with the new setup. I think it's working well so far, so I will have to do more. I'm enjoying this. If E usually works as a note, would its relative minor also work? No, unfortunately. The note E works, not the key of E. The note E often works if you have guitars in there, unless the guitar player is doing an E flat. That's a different thing. But the note works, but that note, that E note, is not necessarily the root, the one. So not necessarily. You just have to be careful. But if you just follow the fourth and the fifth, it should be great. Gosh, it's going fast. Any advice in blues setting with the seventh and the ninth? You find it difficult to break out of habits in a blues setting. So this concept will work in blues, definitely, but I know what you mean. The thing with blues is that blues is what makes blues so enjoyable is that friction between certain notes, between the flat third and the major third, or between the diminished fifth and the perfect fifth. But what I would do if you wanted to expand your blues vocabulary a little bit, I'm assuming most blues players will be playing a minor pentatonic scale for an A. I'm going to change settings, something a little more digestible with less delay. Okay, something like that. So we've got 5 notes: 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. What I would start doing is ejecting. I had to. Adding. Synonymous of injecting. Type in the comments. I need more vocabulary. But I would start playing with the ninth a little bit. Right here. We got one here, one here, one here. And just adding, filling in the gaps. And then using the skeleton concept, I kind of like this. Here's what I mean by that. You've got a minor pentatonic first position, 2 notes per string. Those are the bones. Those are the strong notes that are going to work most of the time in the blues thing. And then in between, you fill in the flesh. You add the flesh. Some of these notes are going to work well, some are not going to work well, but because you're using them as passing tones, it allows your mind to take note of what would work. And filling in the gaps like that. That's probably what I would do. Probably didn't answer your question at all, I'm sorry. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, there we go. Alan is saying hi from Cancun. Hi, Alan. Do I teach on Udemy? I don't. All my courses are on my own website, my own platform, guitarplayback.com. And by the way, there is a bundle going on this week only, and it's I call it the Melodic Shred bundle, but it's not for shredders necessarily. It's for people who want to develop their technique a little more. And the bundle has something like 20, 25 courses in there, over 80 backing tracks. And all those courses together, if you were to buy them one after the other, it would cost you a little over $480. And this week, it's available for $127. Just one payment of $127, and you get all of those together. And you guys know Thiago Trancy in French. I always call him the French way. even though he's not French. Well, he contributed, and he has a really cool pack that is available in this bundle with studies, alternate picking studies. He's really, really good. Anyways, I don't do Udemy. Okay, let's see. What else did I miss? I'm really, really sorry. I know that some of you are going to be disappointed that I'm not answering your questions. You guys are fast. A lot of nice comments. Francisco, thank you very much. Really appreciate this. Avi is trying to teach his kids. Yeah, and total beginner lessons would help. You know what? I need to get on that too, because my daughter is showing interest. She's 4 in guitar, and it would be nice to teach her. Roger is asking me to talk a little bit about effects, and honestly, I'm not the guy for that. I often just use presets. I never really spend time learning how to craft tones because I love playing, but I don't like tweaking. It bores me, so I don't do it. But I'm not very knowledgeable, unfortunately. Hillel has I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, but asking on advice to practice from home. I think to go practice these days is asking myself, can you play that? And if the answer is no, I got to do it. But not anything. Well, it could be anything. It could be something you hear on the radio or a song or whatever. But it could be popular things like, I did a video on this topic called the ABC song. Or I can't remember the name of the video, but basically take something really, really stupid like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, da, da. Can you play this? Well, figure it out. Very simple things. And then try to play this with maybe a different approach. And so forth. And that becomes your practice session. It's kind of having more musicality, I think, in it. But one thing that has really, really helped me with practicing is keeping a practice journal. And so every evening, I would plan my practice ahead for the next day. If I know that I have an hour to practice, I would have my practice session. Now, the first one is going to be kind of random because you don't know where you're at. So it's gauging where you're at. But it might look like 5 minutes of massages. Really important, believe it or not. Things like that. And then 10 minutes maybe of memorizing a 3-note per string scale. And so forth. And then, but you time everything and you take note of the tempos. And at the end of your practice session, if you have it an hour, you will know it's going to be fresh where you struggled, where you didn't struggle, and then plan your next practice session right after you finished the daily one by taking into account what you have learned about yourself during that practice session. And maybe that means I've got to increase the speed here. Maybe it means that I don't need to work on this because I have played it. It's not really a difficult thing for me, so practice what is hard and so forth. But planning ahead is very, very beneficial, I think. Good question. And then, back to what we talked about, the 4th and the 5th. Gim Rage asks, tells me that the 4th is in a chord tone, and you thought that it was best to land on chord tones. Not necessarily. It depends. Now, the 4th, if you have like something like an A major, like this, an A major chord triad, and you land on this, yeah, it calls for resolution. Ba, ba, dum. But now if you take this, ba, dum, da, an octave higher, it kind of works, right? Because it's further apart. And plus, we're not really talking about landing on these notes. We're talking about we're talking about making sure that that note is part of that scale, and then you make words. But I would be careful when thinking that you need to land on chord notes all the time. That's one way to do it, but it's not the only way. Like you could land on a ninth or a second and finish on that, and it would just sound a little bit different. Experimentation, but that's a very good point though. So thanks for bringing that up. Lewis is asking about picking technique, how to go from fingers to pick. You know, that's something I need to work on. I'll work on it and I'll make a video out of it. I'm going to breeze through a little bit. I can't take all the comments. If you have a pressing one, keep trying to comment and maybe I'll see it. I'm going to scroll down because you guys are tapping a lot. Thank you so much, by the way. How long have Vola guitars been around? I don't know, but I first heard of them a year and a half ago. My friend Robert Baker had one, and I contacted Vola asking them questions, and they sent me this guitar, the Vola Oz, to check out, and it's become my main guitar. So I don't know how long they've been around, but I like their guitars. They're kind of like, this one is kind of like super stratish, but they have other models also. So Gringo's asking about chord changes in a song. That's a very good topic that would require a little bit more time. I have a few videos on the channel that cover this. And as a matter of fact, next Monday, in this place, my friend Chris Lipe and I, Chris is another educator, we did a near training course. We're actually going to film a brand new course on that exact topic. So we're starting next Monday. It'll be a big course, so I'll tell you more about it. But you can also find some free lessons on the channel about this modulation. How many positions do we need to know for scales? Ronnie Ward is asking. Ronnie, thank you. That's a great question. You know, here's the thing. I don't know how many, but I do know that at some point, you don't need to think in terms of positions. At some point, what happens when you're learning positions, if you engage your ear, so if you're doing something like this, the major scale, and you're singing da 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 ba 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 da da very slowly, that creates the connection mental fingers. And it's exactly when you're talking, when I'm talking to you, English not being my first language, now it doesn't matter, it just comes out. But first, it was a very, I had to think about this a lot. I had to think, how do I make this sound that is not existing in French? The R sound for an R. Well, I had to think about the mechanics of that. That's what happens when you're playing, when you're thinking about scales. You see shapes and all that, but if you engage your ear to at some point your fingers will have understood that in order to have this sound, that's one movement that you can do. But that's another one. You won't have to look at it because you will have associated sounds with micro movements in your muscles, your tendons, and all that. And that's so. The more you learn, as long as you engage your ear, the less you'll realize that you need to learn. So that's the idea. Okay. What else do we have? The guitar is just such a journey. There's so many things you could do with that, and I love it. And you all do too, I'm sure. Sting, you don't like the look of this guitar? I think it looks great. I really like it. Tastes, I guess. Or maybe you're talking about another one. That said, I've never really cared about the look of a guitar. Well, I take that back. That's not true. That's not true. I don't know what I'm saying. Of course I do. Yeah, never mind. I do like that. Okay, what else do we have? Eamon is asking, is saying that he wants to start learning, and that's awesome. Congratulations. Welcome to the brother sisterhood of guitar. And asking and saying that you want an Epiphone Les Paul, is it a good choice? Yeah, it is. It's thicker typically, and it sits differently on your how you are. But I think if you like that particular guitar, it's going to make you want to play. And then if the purchase of a particular guitar model is influenced by the music you listen to, that's great. People ask me in a similar way, should I start with acoustic guitar? Or knowing that I want to play rock and electric? My answer is no. And that might differ from a lot of teachers. A lot of teachers think differently. But I think no, because it's true that putting the acoustic guitar is a little harder as far as putting the fingers down and all that. But electric guitar is also difficult because you got to mute everything. So why not learn on the instrument that you're going to use your whole life? And if it's electric guitar, don't buy an acoustic. You can always transition later on. So good question. Very good. Make sure I didn't forget anything. You guys are great. Don't forget to download that free pack of backing tracks. Maybe we'll continue exploring a little bit some of these notes. I'm going to switch things up a little bit here with this track this time. And we'll just try this real time again. So the context is the same. We don't really know what we're going to play over. So we'll just start. So I'm not playing anything. That's really important. Because take time to breathe. Feel the groove. Saw a comment on the groove here, really important. And then start. All this happens really fast, but I'm slowing things down here. Start singing inside. And if you mess up, it doesn't matter. Actually, and then play notes with the knowledge you have. E probably would work, right? Because I hear some guitars. Yeah. So, what is that? Major second. Happy birthday to you. Ba, 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 ba. Major second, 2 frets higher. That works. La da bum, minor second. And at some point, your fingers, after finding some of the notes around there, they will gather the right, or they will recognize some patterns. And here I'm recognizing, oh, that's A mixolydian. And once you have that, your fingers can kind of take over, because singing in advance, that's very demanding mentally. So take a break, and that break is going to be a technical break. So even though this may have sounded quote unquote impressive, showy, whatever, the reason you can go there is because your fingers are kind of taking over, allowing your mind, your mental, to take a break, because playing this is very mindless. It's very mindless because you've spent a lot of time working on these things, and you're basically recharging. The hardest thing is the other stuff is automatic type of playing. So that's another thing too. Having a good balance between your mental engaged and your fingers taking over is really important too. Okay, back to the chat here. If I can, give me a second. Okay, here we are. Any questions? We can open it up now. It doesn't have to be with this topic. We can talk about YouTube a little bit. We can talk about making a living online. We can talk about anything you want. But people are talking about amongst themselves, which is great. I love that. Joe, thanks so much. It'll be really fun sometime to jam. I would love that too. There's some discussions on pentatonic scales, which I think pentatonic scales are wonderful, especially in Western music. They're a good way to lead into other things, and you can make a career just with those. Absolutely. And then Dragon is asking a good guitar to get first. Yes, I agree with the comments below. The best one you can afford and something that feels comfortable. Not necessarily the most expensive you can afford. You've got to try a bunch because you might be really surprised at sometimes the price doesn't reflect the quality of an instrument. And it's a personal thing too. Joseph is asking how to make practicing guitar more fun. Vary your approaches and then take breaks too. It's really important. I think playing guitar has a lot to do with life too. So feeding your energy, feeding your creativity, feeding your thirst and love for the instrument will happen by doing things outside also. So go on a walk, play with your kids if you have kids, just play board games. Anything like that would really help. But taking a break is really important. Sometimes you get back to it after a week break and you're much better, much more fluid. So that's really important to avoid the burnout. It's very, very important, I think. Everyone, I want to remind you of the bundle, the Melodic Shred bundle that is available below for this week only. So I don't know when you're watching this. If you're live, great, you can catch it. If not, if you're watching it in 2 weeks, it's too late. Just for Thanksgiving. A big collection of courses, technical courses. So it's alternate picking, sweeping, and there are a few guest courses in there as well. Vladimir Sheryakov is a good friend and an incredible Russian player who has a bunch of licks in the pack. Thiago Trenci, who's an incredible alternate picking musician and incredible composer too, and he's got some guitar studies in there. The link is below. Also, you can get it instead of a $480 purchase. It's only $127. So grab that below. All the backing tracks we used today are available for free too. And then Matt, that answered your question about shredding tips. It doesn't answer that at all, does it? Here's my answer. So tips on shredding, playing faster. I think a lot of it has to do with analyzing things. I'm going to switch to my not so distorted tone. And what I would do is, if you're working on economy picking, for example, an idea like this, where it's down, up, down, up, down, I would play it slow to analyze your movements. That's really important. And what I mean by that is, are there any unnecessary movements that I'm playing? Maybe I find that my pinky is always up there. Well, that's not good. Try to fix that. But playing slow will allow you to analyze this. Really micro movement. Working on the synchronization. Being very analytical of everything you're playing. The reason I think it's important to play slowly is for that analytical mind that is engaged. You'll be able to really analyze what you're doing. And you do this until you start feeling the burn. You guys know what I mean by the burn? I don't know if anybody else calls it like that, but when you practice something long enough, you're going to start feeling warmth. It doesn't hurt, but it's the good kind of pain. Warmth in your fingers. I start feeling it shooting out here. But it's nice. It feels nice. And I found that that's almost like your fingers have a brain of their own, and your fingers are telling you, your mind, hey, mind, I can do faster. Well, don't give in. Because if you do, you might be playing faster, but when you feel the warmth, there's still a little bit that your fingers need to inject in there to memorize, to consolidify the technique. So when you start feeling the warmth, don't give in. That's your fingers telling you that they're comfortable. Resist the urge for a few more minutes. Because you really want everything super synchronized. I didn't have the burn, so that's why there's a little bit missing in here. I should, if I really was serious about the practice, if I had more time, if I wasn't live, I would spend more time really slowly to feel that burn. Anyways, that's my advice for playing fast. And then check the bundle. I think there's going to be some courses in there that are going to really speak to you. Check it out. The link is below. All right. What else do we have? Matt is asking for a bundle preview. Yeah, there's a video in there where you can watch some samples. And also, if you scroll down, you'll see the list of all the courses. If you click on any of them, you can watch the preview for that course. So check it out. If I had only, Bennett, thank you for the question. If I only had 10 minutes a day to practice, what would I practice? I think I would practice the mind playing connection. So putting the guitar down, so important, because as soon as you have it in your hand, you're starting to think like a guitar player, which can be limiting. So I'd put it down and da-da-ba-da-bum. Okay, that's my idea. Da-da-ba-da-bum. That's what I'm going to practice. Dum. Fisher run. There it is. The more you do this, the faster it'll be to figure out where to play it. Da-da-da-bum. Okay. So that's your lick, which started, that's a very, I like it, but the reason why I like it is because it was not found by playing my guitar. It started here, guitar down, da-da-ba-da-bum. Once you found how to play it, try to add or try to figure out where. Add some more notes. Some more notes so you can find the key. That's kind of what I'm hearing in the back, which is a G. I've got a G right here, so you kind of like, your mental will guide you through the practice. I've got a G right here, I was playing my lick, and that slice of the fretboard, it's calling to that, to my G, G7. So now anytime I have this shape of a dominant 7 chord, I know that I can play this kind of lick on the first string, 3 frets below. So now if I have an A, for example, a new lick, and that's what I would do. If I had 10 minutes a day, I would start like this. Da, 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 da. Grab it, replicate it, study it, find different ways to play it, and you'll see, like in a month, your vocabulary is going to be quite stronger, and new ideas are going to come, and the connection mind fingers are going to be strengthened. It'll be easier and easier to do those kind of things. So that's what I would do, I think. Okay. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here. It means a lot. All right, well, so far the stream seems to work well, right? This setup. We're getting close to an hour here, and I didn't have any drops or any freezes, right? Sound is still working well for everyone, I hope. Guitar is still going. I think I'll have to do more of these. If you guys have any suggestions for the topic for the next live session, let me know. And if you want me to do more, maybe this was the worst experience ever on YouTube, so I won't do anymore. But let me know what you think. And then maybe, okay, the next one will have to be about improving over key changes. Let's talk a little bit about this, and then, yeah, we'll do a live stream on that. But here's my thought on this. I don't have a backing track ready for this, but let's say that we have two different vamps, okay? It's something like this. Dorian, G Dorian. And then we have a B flat Dorian. So two very different keys. What I would do, instead of doing something like this where we have, all right, G Dorian, I'm going to be in this slice of the fretboard right here, great. I'm going to improvise on this. And then here's the key change. A lot of players would do that, right? There's nothing wrong with it, but basically they use the same exact shape and then move it to a different fret to correspond to the new key, right? And in this case, it's easy. We got Dorian followed by another Dorian. But what I would suggest instead is find one note that is common to both. You always will have at least one note. And find that one note. In this case, for example, let's see. Well, G is a common note. G is common to, is it? Yeah, G is common to G Dorian, but it's also found in B flat Dorian. That's the sixth. So what I would do is play your G Dorian from that G note, for example, which is common to both. Okay, so I've got something like that. And then play your B flat Dorian from that G, which would be, in this case, G Locrian. Because now you are bringing both keys, and I'm sorry, this is difficult to describe without the backing track. We'll do a full stream on this. Because now, the reason we're doing this is that it's going to be a smoother transition. Because now I'm in the same zone of the fretboard. I've got my G Dorian, followed by G Locrian, which corresponds to B flat Dorian. And now I can transition smoothly. And instead of sounding something like this, let's see if you can hear the transition. G Dorian. And B flat. That was one transition, but that was a little jump, right? As opposed to thinking G Dorian and then G Locrian. The transition is very, very smooth. If you had the backing track, you'd hear it. You don't. The backing track is in my head. We'll do a full stream on that. I love that topic. I hope it didn't confuse you. It's easy if you have the backing track, and maybe I'll do something where I can write down stuff at the same time. Everyone, thank you for the nice comments. Really appreciate it. And then Tabish is asking for that Ibanez. You know what? Yes, I love that Ibanez, but I haven't played it much. It's probably way out of tune. It's a 7-string. This is something I bought a couple years ago. Around this time of the year, Black Friday, it was very, very affordable, so I had to get this. But now I need to tune it, and I can't play a 7-string. I need to readapt to all this. See, I told you, very, very, very out of tune. What I like about this is that it's very easy to play. The neck is a wizard neck. You know those very, very thin necks? You can probably see here how thin even the whole body is. You know what? I'm not going to play this. I'm going to show you because it's way out of tune. It hasn't been played for a while. But it's super thin and it's pretty light too. So I will at some point play this. I promise. I will. And I need to teach myself how to. Anyways, that is my faking it a little bit. It's a great guitar, and you're right, I haven't played it very much. Yeah, Ibanez necks are incredibly thin, and to be honest, I was very worried when when this was on the way here to Colorado a couple years ago. I saw the specs, and the neck is, I come from Ibanez, and the neck is a little thicker. It's not super thick, but it's more like a Telecaster, which I have a Tele, but it's a thin neck. And this was a little thicker, so I was really worried, but like everything, you get used to it. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. I don't want to keep you too much. Well, I guess you can leave anytime. No, okay, you want to know the truth? The truth is that it's 2:30 here. And in 1 hour, I need to go pick up my daughter, she's 4, from pre-K. And then I'm going to pick up my son, who's 2, from childcare. And when I do that, it hits, and it's really, really difficult. So I've got 1 more hour of peace. I want to go get a coffee. So that's why. Okay, what else? Jason, I really appreciate you. Thank you very, very much, Jason Howard, for the nice words. And I'll do more of these live streams since it's working so well in this new setup. Let's see, what else do we have? Ella is asking for advice on a guitar. Maybe you weren't here at the beginning, but what I would advise you to do is, first of all, ask yourself what kind of music do you want to play. Maybe if it's rock, metal, those kind of things, buy an electric. Don't buy an acoustic. If it's folk, buy an acoustic. That's the first thing. And then try a bunch. And don't necessarily think that the most expensive guitar is going to be the better one. There's so many options, and if possible, you need to hold the instrument in your hand and ask yourself, even if you don't know how to play, do I want to use this? Do I like how it feels in my hand? That's the big thing. And then what I do for absolute beginners is my tip would be to, I always do this, even though it can be fixed, but I kind of do this on the frets. And if it kind of sticks out, you can sand them down, but I would just move on to another guitar where it's really smooth on the edges. Okay, that's a very good question. Dragon Model, I don't know if you're still here. For some reason, I just see the chat. You wrote some stuff and it says that the message was deleted by David Wallimann. I didn't delete that. I don't know what your message was, and it was probably a mistake. I'm really sorry. Dragon, can you please... actually, I can see this. Yeah, I don't know why it was deleted. I'm really, really sorry. Oh, it looks like I hid you. I really apologize for this. That was not intentional at all. Okay, unhide user on this. I'm really sorry. I hid you by mistake. I pressed the wrong button. I apologize. Sorry about that. I'll do more of these, everyone. And old guy, thank you very much. And yeah, Pete Thorn on Sundays. Pete is awesome. If you don't know him, go check Pete Thorn. And he's great. Look for the video that I did with Pete at GitCon. It was uploaded a few weeks ago. We talked about coming up with melodic themes and stuff. It's really good. All right. Well, this stream comes to an end. I'm going to do more. And I love the new setup. It's so easy now to do these things. Super excited about this. And thank you guys very, very, very much. This new studio is going to allow me to do more things that I want to do. I'm going to bring in people. And I have this idea, because there's a small number here. I can mention the idea, because if it never happens, oh well, right? But I kind of want to bring in some an audience in here behind, like there's going to be a couch behind, and do a live thing like that. I don't know. Maybe some locals can come around. If you're around Colorado, I can invite some people and do a live thing. I think it'll be really fun. Just an idea. Okay, everyone, thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. I truly do. I know that it can seem sometimes that you've got a YouTube channel and or whatever it is, and you're just you've got some subscribers you don't really know. I read all the comments, and I really appreciate all of you. And so thank you very, very, very much. I'm going to get back to working a little bit. And before I pick up the kids, I'm going to grab a coffee too. And we'll do more of these, and maybe it'll become a more regular thing. We'll see. And the last thing, if you want to work on your technique, check out the melodic, the melodic shred bundle that is available this week only on guitarplayback.com. The link is below. It's $127 instead of $480. And there's a 30-day no questions asked refund too. So grab it today, try it. If it doesn't work for you, just send me an email, I'll refund you. And you can also grab the backing tracks that we used in this session for free. The link is also in the description of this video. Thank you so much, everyone. Practice well, and I will see you very soon. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it if you liked this kind of thing, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any other videos. Thank you so much. I'll see you very soon. Practice well.